Hi, my name is Father David, and I am the Executive Director of St. Anthony's Guild. It's great to be able to be with you here today. And I'd like to explain to you where exactly we are. As you look around, you may notice that this doesn't look exactly like a friar's chapel or church, and that's because it isn't. This is the hall underneath our friary where we live. And the hall is closed now, obviously, because of the pandemic, and so we have moved our prayers and our masses down here so that we can have some social distancing between us so that we're not crammed together closely as we are in our small chapel upstairs. So that's why we're here in this hall, and we're grateful that we have a space like this to be able to pray, be able to have Mass, and to be able to be with you today. As we begin our 3-day journey to the Feast of St. Anthony of Padua, I have some questions to ask you. How much do you know about St. Anthony? Let's take a little quiz, okay? First question. 2 titles of St. Anthony are Doctor of the Church and Wonder Worker. True or false? The correct answer is true. St. Anthony has 2 titles, especially, many more obviously, but especially he is a Doctor of the Church, and we all call him our friend and also Wonder Worker. Question 2. St. Anthony of Padua is one of the most famous disciples of St. Francis of Assisi. True or false? The correct answer? True. St. Anthony actually went to St. Francis and asked him permission to study theology. Number 3. St. Anthony was born in Portugal on the Feast of the Assumption of Mary, August 15, 1195, in Lisbon. True or false? The answer is true. Now, many of us of Italian heritage would love to believe that St. Anthony is Italian, and he certainly acts like an Italian in his gentleness and love, but actually he is Portuguese. Number 4. St. Anthony, like St. Francis, loved the poor and cared for them. True. That answer is a resounding true. Anthony, just like St. Francis, loved the poor, and that's why we have the beautiful custom of the bread of St. Anthony, or St. Anthony's bread. Number 5. St. Anthony often meditated on Mary's yes to God that led her to be the Mother of God. True or false? That answer is true. St. Anthony had a wonderful devotion to our Blessed Mother, as do most Franciscans. If you answered true to all these questions, then you know a great deal about our friend St. Anthony. In the Gospel of Jesus, we are asked to let go of everything and of anything that holds us back from being like St. Anthony or like Christ. Do not carry any baggage, not just like suitcases, but baggage like anger, hatred, bigotry, prejudice, resentment, or anything that keeps us from being like Christ and from being with Christ. We are called to preach the Word of God, like St. Anthony. But how? Now listen to what St. Anthony himself says to each of us. He says, and I quote, "Actions speak louder than words. Let your words teach your actions to speak loudly." We are often full of words, and a lot of times we're empty of action. If that is the case, then we will be crushed by the Lord who cursed the fig tree when he saw that it had no fruit, but only leaves. So part of our prayer and devotion to St. Anthony is also to remember his strong love for everyone, especially the poor, with more than just empty words. Like Pope Francis, St. Anthony calls us to share the generosity of God to us with those who have nothing. Pope Francis says, to love God and our neighbor is not something abstract, but concrete. It means seeing in every person the face of the poor Christ and to serve them concretely. So true or false? Part of our devotion to St. Anthony is to answer the call of Christ's and Pope Francis's call to help the poor. True. We need to love one another with concrete actions and service as best we can. True or false? True. St. Anthony will bless us and his followers today and always. Absolutely true. God bless you all, and thank you.